I am so excited to welcome you to ZooTampa Saves the Greater One-Horn Rhino. So my name is Tanisha and I'm with Hillsborough County Public Library, and I am joined with ZooTampa staff with their very special guest, the rhino. So we're just going to go ahead and wave hello to them. And I'm going to hand things over to them in just a moment. But as a lot of you know, we like to kick off our program with a book or resource, or in this case, an ebook and DVD shout out. So we have two awesome resources for you there if you would like to learn a little bit more about rhinos. So you can check out the DVD from the library. It is available in a physical format, or you can use Access 360 to access highlights magazine. So we have that there for you. So before we kick things over and see a little bit more of our rhino friends, I am going to show a quick video.
Hello, my name is Katie Shepard and I am an animal care professional here at ZooTampa. I take care of our greater one-horned rhinos. This is Jamie. She is our 19-year-old female. She weighs about 3,600 pounds. And she has a calf here named Gronk, and he's almost 8 months old. And we're gonna come back a little later and talk more about the rhinos.
All right, I am going to have ZooTampa jump back on there with me so that we can learn a little bit more about the rhinos that they have there. All right, staff, ZooTampa staff, go ahead and take it away.
Hello, my name is Katie. I'm one of the primary caretakers of our greater one-horn rhinos. This is Jamie. She is our 20-year-old female. She weighs about 3,600 pounds. I don't know if you can see behind me. We also are joined by Gronk. He is our today 10-month-old baby. And we think that he weighs about 1,000 pounds. When they are born about 100 pounds, and then they gain 100 pounds every month. So he's right on track. He was a little under 100 pounds, and now he's probably a little over 1,000. So with greater one-horn rhinos, there are a couple of things that differentiate them from what we more commonly know is the white rhino. Greater one-horn rhinos are very aquatic species, so they're going to spend a lot more time in the water. They're going to eat a lot of water plants. They're just a lot more zoned in on the water. They like to sit on the bottoms. They like to go in ponds and rivers. They also love the mud, which is very similar to the white rhinos. They also only have one horn, obviously, where our white rhinos would have two. They also have this really cool prehensile upper lip, which is not unique to them. Most other rhinos have it, but the white rhinos do not. They are also solitary in the wild. So right now we have John in our backyard, but they are not together all the time. She is a very protective mother, so she would want to protect her baby from any other rhinos or any predators that would come in. So they are just much happier not being in the same area together. So here at ZooTampa, there's a few things that we do to help save the greater one-horn rhino. First is we are part of the species survival plan. So that means that these rhinos are in a giant program that basically keeps track of all of the genetics of every rhino in each species. So a part of that program is our breeding program here at ZooTampa. They let us know what's going to be the best genetic for their genetic diversity. You can't just eat my hand off. So she has had 4 calves here at the zoo. Her first 3 are with our previous male. So part of that program is every 3 calves, we would switch up our pairs. So she had 3 calves with our last male, and then we got our new male, Johnny, and now she's had a calf with him. So we're hoping that this will be an ongoing thing. We also work closely with the International Rhino Foundation. And the biggest thing we do here is education. So we have a nice encounter where guests can come and feed the rhinos. We also just come out here. I come out here any chance I get and talk about the rhinos as much as possible and doing things like this. So we're spreading the word about the greater one-horned rhino. A lot of people don't even know they exist. And we're just getting the word out there, what you can do at home, the best thing you can do is just spread the word. Tell people about this program. Tell people about ZooTampa. Just tell people about the plight of the rhinos. They are considered vulnerable in the wild. There's only about 4,000 of them left in the wild, which is actually pretty good. But still, 4,000 doesn't sound like a very big number when you're talking about an entire species. But the Nepalese and Indian governments are working really, really hard to make sure that their population is on the rise. So that's a really good thing for them. They're one of the only rhino species whose population is currently increasing, which is a big thumbs up for these guys. Another thing that you can do at home is obviously reduce, reuse, recycle as much as you possibly can. I know it doesn't seem like a whole lot when you throw a can into the recycling bin, but you would be surprised at how much that can really help the environment. Reducing plastic use, trying not to use plastic straws and disposable plastics is really going to help them. The main reason why they're endangered in the wild is because of population it's because of habitat loss. And one of those things is palm oil. So that's another thing that you can help with. Try to reduce your palm oil use. Look at the products that you buy at the store. A lot of things have palm oil in it that you wouldn't realize. So making sure that you're using sustainable palm oil sources is going to be a really big help specifically for these guys, since palm oil plantations are a huge contributor to their habitat loss. I could talk about rhinos all day. Couple of things about them is obviously she loves the mud. I don't know if you can kind of tell she's covered in mud right now. She spends a lot of her time in the mud wallows. More so she likes the mud more than even the pool because it helps protect their skin from bugs, sun, and it keeps them cool in the summer. And then she has this really cool bumpy skin. I don't know if you can kind of like look down the side of her, but that bumpy skin helps keep the mud from sliding off. So when she gets that mud on her, it actually helps hold the mud against her skin. I know. They're what's considered browsers. So this prehensile upper lip actually really helps when they reach up into the trees. They're going to pull down branches and eat all the leaves off of them, which is one of her favorite snacks. Here at ZooTampa, we feed the majority of their diet is hay, so they get a combination of coastal or Timothy hay. We also give them produce, so she'll get apples, oranges, bananas, lots of different produce, and she gets a huge bucket of that every day. We also go out and cut browse for them. So we'll go out and cut trees, we'll cut branches. She loves banana leaves. We do that 365 days a year. We go out and cut them as much natural diet as possible. But their main diet is hay. And they can't eat upwards of 5 to 7% of their body weight. She's about 3,600 pounds. But typically she'll eat about 100 to 175 pounds of food every day. That's a lot of food. We have very large amounts of hay coming in here at ZooTampa, and that also means a lot for us to pick up. But one really cool thing, and one thing that helps me out with my job, is that rhinos use what we call a midden, which means they'll all use the bathroom in the same place, which makes it easy for me to pick up, but it's actually a way for them to communicate in the wild. Since they are solitary, they don't come in contact with each other very often, so to communicate, they use the midden, and they have these really large nostrils. They can actually pick up a lot of information from those middens. So I don't know how you would feel about smelling somebody else's poop, but they get a lot of information from that. They're going to be able to tell what other rhinos are in their territory, how old they are. The males can tell if any of the females are cycling. So they're going to go and visit those middens quite often and then figure out who's in their territory and then leave their own signature for the next rhino to kind of come by and check out. Female rhinos can cycle about every 38 to 42 days, and that is a few signs that we see from her when that's going to happen is that she walks around a lot. So think about being out in the wild. There's not a lot of other rhinos around. you're going to have to travel long distances to find a mate. So one thing that we'll notice from her is that she'll start walking. She doesn't eat as much, and she leaves her scent wherever she goes. So she's actually going to be spraying urine, and that is going to attract males to her area. If she kind of walks around, sprays, and kind of like lets out her signal saying that she's ready to have babies. You're so good. I'm all out of greens, Missy. No, I'm sure you probably have seen them so far because she's very good at showing them off, but they have these very large teeth in the front. She has these 2 large teeth down here, and then she has 2 flat teeth up there. Those are her 4 incisors. She actually has 28 molars all the way back in the back of her head. They go past her eyes, the back of her jaw. And she uses those front sharp teeth actually more for defense. So they don't have that very sharp horn like the white rhinos do. Hers is very short. So they're going to use these teeth for defense more so than they would use their horns. So they're going to run at you probably about 30 miles an hour with their mouth open, roaring. So it's very intimidating, as you could imagine. But she keeps her horn very short like that herself. We don't file, trim it, shave it whatsoever. She's been here about 16 years, and we've never had to do that for her. She just does it herself. Right now, it's kind of broken off in chunks, but she will rub it often on trees, logs, sometimes on her water drinker area. So we have never actually trimmed her horn. That's perfectly natural. That's how they would maintain it in the wild. Little man might come over and say hi. You want to come say hi? I might have a little bit in here for you. You want to come over here and say hi? You can kind of see his horn coming in a little bit. I don't know if you can kind of zoom in on that. But his horn is starting to grow. It'll grow about an inch, approximately an inch every year. Their horn is made out of keratin, which is just like our fingernails and hair. And they use the keratin grows constantly, just like our fingernails. So his is starting to grow in. He's hit almost a year, so it's getting about a little bit of an inch there. Keratin, just like our fingernails, is very hard, but there's no nerve endings in it, which is why she can like break off pieces and keep teeth off, and it doesn't hurt them at all. But it is one of the things that they are poached for. So unfortunately, in the wild, they are still hunted. These poachers will kill the rhino just to take that little bit of horn, even though it's a tiny, tiny bit. Thankfully, it's not as large, and the Nepalese Indian governments are very, very good about making sure that the poachers are not present in their areas, which is why their population's on the rise. But even that little bit of horn is what the poachers go after. You're gonna go roll in your wallow again. I don't have any more snacks. No more snacks. Okay. No snacks, no rhino. But little Gronk here is 10 months old today, which is really exciting. Like I said, he's her 4th calf and her 3rd male. Her first was a female. He's going to grow up at about a year and a half is when he'll be fully weaned. So he won't rely on mother's milk, but he can definitely still nurse for up to 3 years. Sometimes we can see young nursing, but he'll be completely weaned. He's eating Timothy right now. He's eating a lot of solids, but not enough for us to really like to do encounters or anything with him. But we are starting a training program with him.
She steps here.
Yeah. Oh, she wants to be there?
Just so that she can see right.
Get in there. Look at that. It's so cute.
And yes, you guys are absolutely right. These rhinos are so super cute and so big. That is really interesting to know that they eat like 100 pounds of food every day. So I wanted to go ahead and jump on with the questions because our question section is hopping. We got people who have tons of questions about the rhinos. So the first question we got is, why do rhinos have horns?
Why do they have? Why do they have horns?
Why do rhinos have horns? So, like the white rhino has that really long, sharp horn, they're going to use that for defense. These rhinos are going to use it more for manipulation. So they're going to use it to push down trees, to move boulders. They're going to definitely use it more to interact with their environment.
So we have somebody else asking, what was the animal in the background? But it looks like that was some more rhinos, right?
So we have 2 rhinos in this habitat. We have Jamie right here, and then we have little Gronk. So Jamie does have access to that whole area, so she's going to be walking around. So she might have just kind of come around the other way. But just in this habitat, we have mom and baby, just the 2.
Awesome. Oh, wow, we got some good questions here today. So we have somebody else asking, when they cut trees for the rhinos to eat at the zoo, what is done to replace the trees?
We try to cut as sustainably as possible. We are all trained on where to cut, how much to cut, and when is a good time to cut each type of plant. But it will get increasingly difficult. We have a limited amount of space. So having to go out every day, 365 days a year, we basically find it. We do have some properties around the zoo that we can use, but basically we try to trim as sustainably as possible.
Awesome, thank you. We also have somebody else asking, what are their personalities like?
Oh, that's such a good question. They have amazing personalities. Jamie is definitely a little more sassy. She can have moods just like a lot of us do. She's usually very sociable. She loves to come over. She loves attention. She loves snacks. Probably is the most thing. Everything for her is about the snacks. Gronk is actually showing some personality too. He is very pushy. He definitely is starting to test mom a little bit. He wants to get his attention, and he'll kind of try to push her out of the way, which is really interesting to see. Sometimes she lets him, but most of the time she says, "These snacks are mine." But John, our male, is very laid back. He is very kind of cool-headed unless he gets scared of something, because then he is a big scaredy cat. So he's like really mellow, or he's very scared of butterflies. One or the other.
All right, we got enough time to sneak in just a couple more questions. So we have somebody asking, how many toes are on their hooves?
So that's an amazing question. I love it. They're considered odd-toed ungulates. So they're ungulates, which means they have hooves, and they have an odd number of toes. So they actually have 3 toes on their front feet. So they have 3 hooves. Yeah, I don't know if you can kind of zoom in. She's like, "What's that?" I say hi. I don't have any more snacks for you. So yeah, they have 3 toes, which makes them an odd-toed ungulate, just like tapir and horses.
Awesome. So last question, we have somebody who would like to know, how old is the adult rhino and how long do they typically live?
Jamie here is 20 years old. They reach maturity, different ages for male and female, but usually around 8 for female and like around 5 for males. And then our male currently is 31, but they can live into the late 40s, sometimes even the early 50s, but late 40s is a really old rhino.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for our audience for asking such wonderful questions.
Good question.
Before we wrap things up here, as we always do, we're just going to end with a couple of library things. So if you need to contact us by phone, email, text, chat, however you'd like to contact us, our contact information is there. Also, if you want to learn more about what we're doing for summer reading, there is still time to log those Beanstack hours. There's still time to see other programs. There's our link to summer reading. And of course, a huge, big, giant thank you to ZooTampa for joining us. We are so grateful that they were able to join us and tell us a little bit about the rhinos. So if you'd like to learn a little bit more about them, Their link is available there. Also, in your follow-up email, ZooTampa provided us with so many different resources on rhinos and what the zoo does for them. So in that follow-up email you'll be getting shortly after this program, definitely check out those resources. Perfect for kids, perfect for families. It'll be really good if you'd like to learn a little bit more about rhinos and the zoo. And we would love to thank you guys for joining us this morning. We hope to see you again soon, and you guys all have a fabulous morning. Goodbye now.